Hey, and welcome to The Explainer. So, you've seen GPT everywhere, right? You've probably even used it. But what is it really? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this incredible tech and figure it out together. When you see an AI just write a whole paragraph in a few seconds, it can feel like legit magic. But it's not. It's actually a pretty logical process. And I promise, by the end of this, you'll see exactly how the trick is done. Okay, so to really get our heads around this, let's use a little analogy. I want you to imagine a super librarian. Now, this isn't just any librarian. She has read pretty much every book, article, and website ever made. But here's the key thing. She hasn't memorized them. Instead, she's just absorbed all the patterns of how we humans use language. Just keep her in mind, because she's going to be our guide for this whole thing. So, where do we even start? Well, funny enough, the name GPT is basically the perfect instruction manual for how this whole thing works. We just have to break it down, letter by letter.
First up, the G is for generative, and this is a huge deal. It means our super librarian doesn't just find a sentence in some book and copy-paste it for you. No, based on all those patterns she's learned, she can generate brand new, totally original sentences, paragraphs, you name it, completely from scratch.
Next up, P stands for pre-trained. Think of this as our librarian's backstory. Before you ever walk in the door to ask her a question, she has already done all of her reading. And we're talking about a mind-boggling amount of text from the internet. All of that learning is done up front, before she ever even meets you. And finally, we have T for transformer. Okay, this is the librarian's real superpower. The transformer is this special architecture that lets her figure out the importance of different words in your question. It's how she gets the context. So she knows that the word bank in let's go to the riverbank is totally different from the bank in I need to go to the bank and deposit this check. That little trick, understanding context, is what makes her answers feel so spot on. So, okay, we've got a generative, pre-trained transformer, but what is she actually doing? Well, at its very core, this incredibly complex system is playing a surprisingly simple game. It's basically just asking itself over and over, what word is most likely to come next? Let's try it. I'll give you a prompt. The sky is... Go ahead, what's the first word that pops into your head? Yeah, for most of us, it's probably one particular word.
And just like us, GPT does the exact same thing, but it uses cold, hard math. It looks at the phrase, the sky is, and based on the millions of times it's seen that phrase in its training data, it calculates the odds. And as you can see, blue is the overwhelming statistical favorite, with about a 70% chance. So yep, that's almost always the word it's going to pick.
And this simple little loop is the engine that drives the whole thing. It takes your prompt, it predicts one word, and then, and this is the really clever part, it tacks that new word onto the end of the prompt. So now the prompt is, this guy is blue. And it just does it again. What comes next? It predicts another word, and then another. Word by word, loop by loop. That's how it builds entire paragraphs out of these tiny little predictions. So this process makes our librarian an incredible pattern matcher, a fantastic word predictor. But, and this is really important, it's crucial to understand that while she's super knowledgeable, she isn't wise. She has some amazing strengths for sure, but also some really important limitations that we have to be aware of. So on the one hand, she's a master of context, right? She generates incredibly fluent, human-sounding text. But on the other hand, and this is critical, she isn't conscious. She isn't thinking. Her knowledge is basically frozen in time, limited only to the books she read during her training. And because of that, oh yeah, she can make mistakes. And that brings us to the single most important limitation you have to remember. GPTs can make confident mistakes. Some people call these hallucinations. Just think of it like our librarian confidently telling you a fact that she just kind of made up because it sounded statistically likely. Her goal is always to give you a coherent answer, which means she will never say, I don't know. She will always generate something, even if it's completely wrong. All right, we have covered a lot of ground here. But after all that, what's the one big idea we should really walk away with? Let's try and boil it all down. If you remember nothing else from this explainer, just remember this. GPT is a word-predicting superlibrarian. It's a super sophisticated engine that has learned the patterns of our language, and it uses that knowledge to create new text by just predicting one after another the most likely next word. So no, it's not magic. And it's definitely not a person. It's a powerful tool, a new kind of intelligence, with some absolutely incredible abilities and some very real limitations. Understanding that difference is everything. And it leaves us with the most interesting question of all. Now that we know how she really works, what should we ask this librarian next?